Pisces Horoscope 2024. Pisces, you're shining like the diamond of the zodiac in the year 2024. But the thing about diamonds and the thing about your year is that we don't get that shine until after a fair amount of pressure. Hi, my name is Lulu Lunar and welcome to my cosmic corner of the internet where we discuss all things astrology and today all things Pisces in the year 2024. We will discuss what are the major themes that you can expect within your universe based on the year ahead astrology and furthermore how you can co-create with these transits in order to live your life with maximum alignment and magic. Because that is something that I am so passionate about within my work. I am also passionate about utilizing astrology, not as something that is scary, but really leveraging it as the tool that it is so that you can navigate the year ahead, which, I'll be honest, it does have its challenges. We will get into it knowing that it is a transit and that it will come to an end. Sometimes that can be healing within itself. This as well as understand where the universe, where your soul is guiding you, and where you can have the maximum amount of impact and success in the year ahead. I always tell my clients, I'm like, why force love when it's like a major money year? Why force moving when it's a major career year? The next year is really a line for moving. I'm not saying you have to design your entire life to revolve around the astrology, but I want you to tune into some overall themes and furthermore contemplate how am I going to lean into the opportunities that these transits create. Because all of them give opportunities. This is part of my new series called 12 Days of Cosmos, where I'm going through every single sign and letting you know what the overall themes of the year ahead will be. I started with Pisces first, Pisces pride. Second, because you're having Saturn transits this year, and that is not easy. I thought I owed it to us here in the fish pond, all of the Pisces fish here, and I actually did a poll over my membership called Magic Monday and decided on posting one sign at a time so that you can get prepared for your year ahead. I want you to definitely follow your sun sign as well as your rising sign. I'm going to talk a lot about those houses as I do use solar houses, which is a technique when we put the sun into the first house and use the houses accordingly. You don't have to know about all of that. All I'm saying is definitely follow your sun sign and rising sign, and you're also welcome if you want to follow your moon sign, your Mercury, your Venus, your Mars, and just contemplate how these themes are coming up. But I would most definitely follow your sun and your rising sign, which will be the most accurate look at your year ahead. You may feel the sun theme as well coursing and threading its way through the year. It's going to be a powerful year. We've got this, here's the astrology of why what's happening is happening. Without further ado, let's go ahead and take it into Pisces in the year 2024, growing pains. So I apologize if I'm coming off ominous, but the thing is Saturn is in Pisces, my loves, and I think it's unfair. Personally, I think Pisces should be exempt from Saturn transits. We're not built for Saturn. We are too sensitive to survive in this world altogether. I just think Saturn should just gloss right over from Aquarius to Aries, but of course, that's not how it works. I do want you to know that I'm joking right now. We are strong enough to get through this, and honestly, like I said in the beginning, you are going to come out shining this year. But it's important to highlight and to start with the fact that Saturn, the planet of reality, restrictions, and limitations, It will be cruising through the mutable water of Pisces throughout the entirety of 2024. Is there a way to glow through this transit? Absolutely. But we must go through the transit, and what I always say about Saturn is, you don't have to like Saturn, you don't have to fear Saturn either, but you must respect Saturn. And it's important to know that, my fishy loves. And again, I'm right there with you, my Pisces out there. We are working with Saturn, and the thing about Saturn is that Saturn is not a planet that you can hit a snooze button on. It makes the demands of our physical reality with the finite restrictions that it does entail. Very obvious, if there have been certain alarm bells within your universe, I really should get this health issue addressed, or I really should stop this bad habit. I really need to start thinking about and planning for my future. I'm letting you know, with Saturn being the planet of karma, it can be this energy about what it is that you have reaped and perhaps what it is that you have ignored. You're starting to see that it's starting to show up within your physical, external reality. Now, if you have been really heeding the call of Saturn, really exercising your due diligence, really thinking and planning strategically about the future, this can be a transit in which you are really solidifying your legacy. You're really stepping up as a leader. You're creating things that will stand the test of time. Saturn is the planet of time, but having Saturn transit your sign, especially if you are the degrees that I will highlight, that means that Saturn will transit any Pisces placement that you have through the degrees that it transits. Saturn is the planet of time, and having Saturn means you are fused with this energy of Saturn, which can be this energy of up-leveling your commitments and your responsibilities, entering a new echelon of your journey as a leader, as a boss, as a creator, as a spiritual leader. There can be certain energies around really taking charge of your life, not really allowing yourself to be a fish who's just kind of allowing the currents to take you, but really being intentional around swimming in the direction and taking charge of reality in the ways that you want. Those are all positive ways to work with Saturn, but I'll be completely forthright with you and say that Saturn is not always the lightest and fluffiest energy to work with, particularly if you are having a Saturn transit this year. You will be having a Saturn transit if you have Pisces placements between 3 degrees to 19 degrees. Even if you have Pisces placements outside of those degrees, you will likely feel the energy of Saturn. But definitely for your Pisces placements that you have in between those degrees, there's going to be this real call to Saturn. If your life is really around thinking long-term, establishing boundaries, doing hard work, and really starting to feel the effects of past decisions, that's what Saturn is all about. What we have reaped, we have sowed. No judgment, because I've been right there with you. It's very much the nature of Pisces, but if you have been deeply within your own dream world and just kind of hitting snooze on the outside demands that your physical reality is asking of you, this year can be a little bit of a wake-up call to remind you that time is going by. Saturn transits really bring that into awareness, showing that a lot of life, I'll be totally forthright, a lot of life sucks. We can't always escape from it, because that's a central part of being a Pisces. That there is this constant. It's the two fish, right? There's this constant push-pull, this constant battle between real life and fantasy. I just want to let you know this is a year in which you're really not given the pond for you to descend into your own world. The magic of this year is that if you lean into this energy of Saturn, you can take your visions, take that safe space that you retreat to within your mind to cope with the harshness of reality and put it into reality. I'm telling you that this can be a really strong time to take the realm of Pisces, which is infinite compassion, and your visions and your spirituality, and make it something that is very concrete, very tangible within your world, so that you are building a life which you do not have to escape from. With the energy of Saturn, I want to be completely real with you and say it's going to be a lot of hard work. And most likely with the energy of Saturn, discipline too. Because like I said, Pisces governs arenas of life that are very infinite, and Saturn has to do with physical limitations. Though the energy of Pisces is sort of the shapeshifter, it's mutable water, right? It's everywhere at once. It's everyone to everybody. It's able to shape, shift, and mold. With Saturn transiting your sign, you're understanding that your time and energy is finite. And you cannot be everything to everybody. You have this one life in order for you to co-create the visions that you are the most passionate about. A tricky part about Saturn energy is that it governs the restrictions of life. The fact that you have to be able to say no to a lot of things in order to say yes to the most important heart song that exists within you, because Saturn is about physical limitations. Time is something that is very limited. You can't be practicing tennis at 3 p.m. and at the same time be working on your proposal for your startup, and at the same time that you're building your relationship. When it comes to navigating Saturn transit, it's in Saturn energy which all Pisces are navigating. Even if you're not having a Saturn transit this year, you're being asked to get realistic with your time, and that you're going to have to say no. You're going to have to enact boundaries, because the energy of Pisces, it is mutable water. It flows, its shape shifts. It's almost this energy where they can kind of float in and just contemplate what would it be like to do this. With the energy of Saturn, it's really this reminder that we have this one life to live. What is it that we want to do with this precious amount of time that we have on this planet? Understand there might be things that you're interested in, hobbies that you want to dive into, but for you to have maximum impact, there is this energy of Saturn to really allow your time and your effort to mirror what's the most important to your soul, and to get comfortable saying no. Like I said, Pisces exists in the realm of what is boundless within this experience. Compassion and spirit, the components of us that we could just give and give and give. But with Saturn and Pisces, it's saying we have to put our time and energy towards what is the most important to us. We have to be able to say no to things that might sound interesting, but are not really what we are here to do in order to build that resounding yes. There's this interesting energy taking place even beyond the Saturn transit. We'll get into some transits that I want you to have in your awareness, including your ruler. But when it comes to this Saturn transit, it's really asking you to understand that you cannot be everything to everybody. You cannot give everything to everybody. You cannot have time in your day to build 20 different careers and to nourish all of these different relationships. Saturn energy is asking you to say no, and as a Pisces, that is hard. This is a sign that exists within the realm of shapeshift and flow, and with the energy of Saturn, you're understanding you will not have the time, the energy, the emotional bandwidth to pour into your resounding yes within this life, what it is that you want to be known for. Your legacy, your Saturn energy, unless you honor your no. You need to enact strong boundaries this year. And this is not easy for you, so that's why I'm saying you're really getting your push-ups in with the astrology this year. You're really in a tough lesson in the school of life about understanding that you need to say no to opportunities that are not aligned for you in order to ensure that you have the space for what it is you need to honor. Your time and energy on those who pull it from you, Because being somebody who has strong Pisces within your chart, you are a very compassionate individual. You have a lot to give. You have a lot to share. But for you to have the maximum impact within your universe, it's important that you are bucketing up your time and energy towards where you can make that happen for yourself, for you to be able to genuinely care and honor the recesses of what you need. With this Saturn energy, it's also about honoring where in your life you have to say no or draw back your energy a little bit, because when we talk about Saturn arenas, it both speaks to the finite constrictions of time and the finite constrictions of energy and of emotions that we have to expend, but also how much you can give. And I want you to know, working with Saturn, sometimes it could be depressing. Like, I have tried to do everything, I have tried to give everything, and it's still not enough. There could be certain resentments, or maybe you've been trying to do everything and feeling like a failure because you are not able to raise these children and build these things. It's simply not realistic. And you're a dreamer at heart. So this isn't the territory that you typically play within. Like typically, if there's another responsibility on your plate or another person who needs your help or another opportunity that comes in as the mutable water soul that you are, you just kind of adjust in order to accommodate it. I want to let you know, with Saturn hanging out by your Pisces placements, you're having to get realistic on what do I honestly have time for. Saturn energy really draws our awareness towards legacy. And so a lot of you, when leaning into Saturn energy, you're really getting clear about, this is what I want to build. This is what's important to my soul. Because the up level of this transit is taking our spiritual beliefs, the compassion that resides within us, and ensuring that it is something that is physical, that is seen, that people know we're about just by the very way that we conduct our lives. People know your spiritual practices because they see it within you, because your day-to-day reflects it. It's not so much having certain beliefs and having that be a secret. It's like with Saturn and Pisces, it's living it out. It's not just descending into your dream world, it's creating your dream world here within the physical. And this year, these Saturnian concepts of integrity and time and karma can be weighing heavily on your soul. There could be this presence around having to report to past behaviors. Like I said, if there has been certain escapist tendencies that you've had, if there has been certain things within your life that have been a problem, which you've been avoiding, choosing to stay within your own world of fantasy and avoidance, I'm letting you know how with the energy of Saturn, those things could be manifest within your external. There have been certain lies that you have told or decisions that you're not proud of. I want you to know you're hanging out with the planet of karma. I'm not saying navigate your year in fear, but what I'm saying is just be intentional about your time and actions, and understand you might think that nobody saw that shady thing, but you know who saw? Saturn saw. Saturn saw, and this is typically the transit. I tell my clients, listen, when you're hanging out with Saturn, this isn't the time to be breaking the law. This isn't the time to be in a messy love triangle that you're hoping nobody finds out about. Be intentional with this energy of Saturn by really contemplating what it is that you want to be known for. What is on my soul, and how do I want what is important to my soul to manifest within my external reality. And if there have been certain mistakes or things that you're not proud of from your reality, whether they are consequences that catch up or just this kind of heavy weight on you, and you have consciously decided that it's not the person you are any longer, because I shared this briefly earlier. I just want you to restate here that a lot of times when it comes to Pisces energy, it's like going with the flow, and you are so profoundly guided by Spirit. You are exactly where you're meant to be, but all I'm saying is Spirit can only do so much. It can only send you all the downloads and give you all the nudges about you need to cut out this person or you need to stop this bad habit at some point. You have to take charge of your destiny and listen and heed the call, because I will let you know when it comes to the opportunities and what is transpiring for you. A lot of blessings are in your physical reality. So when it comes to your spiritual practice, honor the call. If you get a nudge around, I should apply for this job, I should start this business, answer it. You can really make amazing things happen within your reality as long as you're willing to work and willing to delay gratification for the big payoff, because that's the energy of Saturn. I'll be totally honest with you. You may already be in this energy of you've never worked harder. I know me, I'm a Pisces. As I highlighted, I've never worked harder than I have since Saturn entered Pisces. But I'm of the belief based on how Saturn works. Saturn, while it is a harsh teacher, it does give you that at the end, and it's worth it to be able to build your dream life rather than have to retreat into your fantasy land. It is worth it, but it won't come easy, and it's interesting just when we look at the overall astrology of your year ahead, because a lot of where you are playing this year is in what is very physical, what is very tangible. I just want to let you know that from a solar house perspective, it's most likely transiting your first house throughout the duration of the year. And so there's this real urge to crystallize self, the who you want to be. That's why I'm saying there is this sort of haunting of past efforts that maybe weren't aligned with who it is that you want to be. Again, I don't believe that we're defined by our mistakes. Definitely forgive yourself. Don't feel like you don't deserve a good life just because you were dishonest or had bad habits. It's not coming from this guilt landscape. But with the energy of Saturn, it's just defining who it is that you want to be and want to be known as, and who it is that you do not want to be and want to be known as. You can take charge of deciding, this is who I want to be. This is how I want people to see me. A lot of Pisces placements are being nudged at this time to show up as a leader. But part of being a leader is that you have to be able to be accountable. You have to be able to lead by example. And that means establishing this steady foundation around your beliefs. Again, your inner beliefs being visible within your external world, as well as understanding that when you are more visible, you are more likely to have your past or your vices visible too. So that can be a nudge. Now, a lot of you Pisces with this energy of Saturn are improving your habits, especially when it relates to your physical upkeep. Like I said, it's a year about visibility. So when it comes to the energy of Saturn transiting the house of self, not only is it supporting you through crystallizing and really defining self, it's also supporting certain habits of how you want to take care of your physical body. Again, there can be a little bit of a Saturn alarm bell going off if you have been not treating your body very well. There can be an energy of Saturn of really wanting to clean up your diet, really wanting to show how much you love yourself, to be visible on your external vessel, really wanting to take charge of your destiny, not allowing yourself to descend into inertia of what you've always done. That's a real gift that you have this year with the energy of Saturn. If you are not happy with your reality, it might come after a lot of work, but you are gifted the ability to change it, to take charge of your destiny, to take charge of your future, to take charge of your dreams, because only you can make them happen for you. Again, the universe is always supporting you there, but it can only do so much. And Saturn is about manifesting those visions within you by playing within the external world, working hard, having discipline, and for a lot of you, that can show up very physically, whether in wanting to get more fit, whether in wanting to get more into skincare, wanting to up-level your aesthetics, there's just a real emphasis on leveraging these Saturn themes of discipline and hard work towards looking your best and feeling your best and being visible. Alright, now no fear whatsoever, but with the energy of Saturn, there can be certain things which make us very aware of age. So some of you, if you're getting older, there can be a nudge. While Saturn's going through this sector, there can be a nudge about feeling I'm transitioning into this new realm of my life, and now I'm noticing different parts of my appearance, or maybe I had this bad habit and now I'm seeing its visual effects within my skin. Dang, I've been drinking tons of caffeine and now I'm starting to feel its effect. Nothing scary whatsoever. My intention is never to fearmonger you, but there can be this nudge about time is going by. And it's not that the actions that I make just go into the abyss. They have real manifestations. And it's not saying you need to hide, like I said. There can be certain edges towards visibility, but it is this energy of taking charge, of observing what you are noticing within your physical vessel and taking charge, leveraging discipline and up-leveling in order to show up as the best version of yourself. Maybe some of you, you're kind of like, my clothes feel outdated, or it just feels like a prior version of you because a huge part of this is this new life energy. With Saturn transiting sector as well as North Node going through the second house, there is this energy of wanting to invest in yourself and understanding maybe some of your clothes or your skincare routine or your old fitness routine belong to a prior version of yourself. As our life transforms and we transform, our habits, our efforts, and our discipline have to transform as well. So with Saturn here at North Node in second house, which I will discuss in a moment, I don't want you to shy away from opportunities to invest in yourself. Do not cut corners. When there's North Node energy, if there is something that will support you in transitioning towards this new self, this new life that you are moving into, be willing to invest in the betterment of you. You are your own best investment within this world. To get more information on some big picture themes for you to look out for before we get into the nitty-gritty about where all the planets are and what are some major aspects to look out for, I want to first take you on a journey of Jupiter, because I'm a traditional astrologist, so I use Jupiter as the ruler of Pisces, which will help you understand some overall big picture themes that you are moving through during 2024's astrology. First, let's go on a journey through the signs. Your ruler Jupiter will start off the year in the sign Taurus. See what I'm saying when I say that you are playing within the realm of reality? Your ruler is moving through a mind that is all about what we taste, touch, see, and smell. It's all about our physical connection to life. May I say, Pisces, a huge opportunity that you have within the year ahead is to up-level your finances. You have North Node most likely in the second house, and you have your ruling planet for the first portion of the year in Taurus, making a conjunction to Uranus, which can help you change your physical material reality. We will talk about that aspect in a moment, but I want to bring to your awareness that with your ruling planet in Taurus, even though you're a very spiritual soul who really exists within the realm of where you are feeling guided and what it is that your heart yearns for to create and to ease the suffering of humanity, and we love that about you, it's not that you're entering your materialistic era. All I'm saying is that with your ruler entering Taurus, there can be a focus on your resources. With Saturn in your sign, you really want to leverage your time and energy to have the most good, because one thing I just want to urge you and encourage you is to have the most scalable impact, to leverage the resources at your disposal in order to continue to grow your finances. As one thing I want to say, if you're a Pisces business owner with Saturn transiting your sign, You are realizing that your time is such a valuable, crucial component of your business and thus your finances. You will be urged this year to lean on opportunities, to multiply your time and energy through scalable efforts. So understand, this is 1 hour of my time that I'm putting towards this. What if I put this 1 hour of my time towards something that can have way more impact, create way more legacy, create way more eyeballs on this, or generate way more income? I want you to think within those terms. And even if you are not a business owner, I do want you to contemplate new ideas with Jupiter conjoining Uranus. New ideas for finances to reach you, and new ideas for you to maximize the resources that you have at your disposal. Because with Saturn transiting your sign, you're having to play within the realm of reality. And reality sucks sometimes. I really want to let you know that with your ruler meeting up with Uranus and transiting the sign Taurus in the first portion of the year, there is an opportunity to really be maximizing and encouraging new ways to generate income and to bring more comfort within your material reality. But again, to bring that, you've got to play within the reality realm, so look out for opportunities to do just that. Sometimes the answer isn't necessarily more work and more responsibilities. Sometimes it's just maximizing the current opportunities as well as saying no to things that are energy and time consuming but are not leading you to your financial abundance and comfort. It's making you look really pragmatically at your finances. Where is the money coming in? What is adding pressure and distraction to your mind and not necessarily flowing in your true value into your bank account? You may be asked to think critically about that. And so while Jupiter is in Taurus, it will be transiting your third house. So a lot of you, if you are in sales, if you are in digital careers, a lot of you can definitely expect Pisces to experience a boost within those arenas. For my Pisces on social media, you can definitely expect a lot of growth related to the messages that you are putting out. If you have a podcast, if you have a blog, if you do not, but you're like, Lulu, I've always wanted a podcast. I've always wanted to start a TikTok. Pisces, I'm not kidding. Take that dream and make it happen, because no one is going to help you more than Jupiter transiting your sector of your chart that has to do with communication. This is such an optimal time to do so, especially with Jupiter conjoining Uranus, which happens in April, which again can bring virality, truly. I really think a lot of fish are going to go viral this year. I'm not kidding, but I think Saturn is also asking you, are you ready to go viral? If you have more eyeballs on your work and on what you are saying, do you have the marketing funnel set up where you'll be able to maximize that reach? Do you have shady stuff on the internet that people can find? Like I said, with Saturn transiting Pisces, we may need to answer for things from our past. And with more eyeballs, that can bring more criticism. Uranus can kind of bring random upticks, but it doesn't necessarily indicate that it will all be positive attention. And part of your overall energy, with Saturn transiting most your sign and Jupiter transiting pragmatic Taurus, part of your energy is having to get comfortable with more visibility, which could perhaps mean more haters, right? So with the energy of Saturn, really be fierce around enacting boundaries, around, okay, that's just what people say about me. That's not necessarily who it is that I am. With Saturn, Pisces contemplate, what is my integrity? What do I stand for? Because if you know that, if you can define that, what people have to say about you, it doesn't affect you quite as much. And that's why the cosmos is setting you up to nudge yourself about, who am I? What it is that I truly want? What do I want my legacy to be? Because obviously, if you have more haters or things of that nature, it's never going to feel good. But I think Saturn in Pisces, it's giving the Pisces this year a lot of tough skin to be able to handle it, to understand the dreams and the heights that you are destined to ascend to and to manifest it will require you to get comfortable with some hater energy, some criticism. You can't just swim away from it. You have to play within this world of reality. So I just want to say that if you've had this urge within you, like, I have something to say, I need to write this book, I need to share this podcast, I want to definitely encourage you to do so before May 25th. And I would definitely encourage you to do so before your ruler meets up with Uranus on April 21st. So this transit is beyond just social media success. It feels like a major theme that I want to speak towards. If in any way you're like, could I have something to say? I want you to follow that nudge. You never know where that could go. And with the energy of your ruler meeting up with Uranus, embrace opportunities that your truth or your perspective might be a little different than usual. With your ruler meeting up with Uranus this year, there can be something about your life that you're choosing to disrupt in some way. And again, it's not coming from this impulsive way. You have Saturn transiting your sign also, but it just feels this energy with Saturn going through your first house and defining who it is that you are. You're getting more comfortable saying no, and that might be a disruption of what other people have come to expect from you. I just see a lot of you are getting more and more comfortable not caring as much about other people's opinions and other people's feedback, so long as you are in alignment with the soul that you want to be within your truth. Some other themes with Jupiter transiting the third house, there could be a boost of sales. If you work online, you should experience some growth there. I would definitely ensure that around the month of April, when this aspect exacts Jupiter-Uranus, definitely be cautious where it relates to data or electronic themes, because Uranus can bring things that are unexpected in this sector. Also, car issues. Some of you might get a new car. Honestly, with your Uranus transiting here and meeting up with Uranus, something new is flowing into your world, but the biggest gift this transit is giving is that you are really stepping into this genius mind state. That's why I'm saying a lot of you are stepping up as leaders this year should you heed the call. One thing I see with Jupiter in third house is that you are conduit for ideas that you are here to make happen. Your ruler is transiting through Taurus in the beginning portion of the year. Very physical. These ideas picked you. Ideas want to be manifested here within the physical plane with Jupiter on Uranus in April. Again, we're going to feel that trance as it comes, and we're going to feel it as it leaves. You can be gifted with a new perspective. You could be gifted with a new idea, and you're being asked to seize it. I briefly said this, but with Jupiter on Uranus, a lot of you could get an idea that could make you a lot of money. But you have to heed the call. If you've been wanting to start a new online business or have a podcast or want to write a book, Jupiter and Uranus, there can be ideas that are truly groundbreaking, that are truly not of this world. Honor it and make it happen. That idea picked you. I got this concept from the book Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, and she always describes ideas like butterflies that want to manifest. And if you aren't doing anything about it, if you're just in your daydream thinking, oh, that would be so cool, but can I do it? The butterflies will flutter and find someone else. Remember, they picked you. So when it comes to Jupiter and Uranus within the third house, it's also navigating imposter syndrome when it comes to the ideas that are coming into your mind's awareness, because with Saturn transit in the first house, you can find you are more critical of yourself. And you could brush off $1 million idea because you're thinking, who, me? I couldn't possibly. But the only way you can find out is when you play within reality and try it within your physical reality. I want to let you know that you can make your dreams come true. One of these ideas that are coming through this year is going to make your dream come true. At least it has the opportunity to make your dreams come true. And the reason I feel so confident telling you that is because on May 23rd, your ascended ruler Jupiter ties your modern ruler Neptune, which we will talk about just in case you do use modern rulers. But nevertheless, whichever ruler you use, they are making this harmonious flow of energy. And when that occurs, this is an energy around miracles happening, doors opening. Neptune is higher level intuition and calling, so I definitely think your intuition is going to be on point this year. But you need to do something about it in order to reap those benefits, in order to reap those results, enacting it, taking those visions. Neptune is about visions and making them happen, playing within the zone of reality. But even if you're not having any desire for any of this, and you're like, Lulu Lunar, online career, podcast, social media, no thank you, I'm good. I just want you to honor novel ways that you are feeling called to communicate, and maybe even communicating ways that disrupt what people typically expect from you. With Saturn, the first house, you are enacting boundaries, and maybe people typically are used to using you or taking advantage of you. And this is sort of a time that you're disrupting the narrative of what they expected from you and stepping into your own narrative. You're writing your own story. Some of you might deal with more neighbor drama this year. I want to say that there can be unexpected neighbor drama that is coming in just with Jupiter-Uranus, as well as Jupiter entering Gemini, entering your fourth house. We'll talk about that in a moment too. But just this year with Jupiter transiting Taurus is in your physical reality. I also see this theme coming in with both Jupiter and Taurus transiting your third house. And then Jupiter entering Gemini, most likely entering your fourth house, which is about being open to network, being open to putting yourself out there, being open to be visible. That is going to be a really important thread to take with you as you navigate this year. So on May 25th, your traditional ruler Jupiter will enter Gemini. And this is not the best of news. I'll completely be honest with you, simply because Jupiter rules Gemini's opposite sign, Sagittarius. Thus, Jupiter is in its detriment in the sign of Gemini. So when your ruler is in its detriment, there is some growing pains. It's not exactly comfy. And the reason is there is no affinity between these signs, because Jupiter is more about morals and belief systems, while Gemini is the energy of the twins, being able to carry different people's perspectives and different nuances. A very important theme that you're going to want to be mindful of, especially with your traditional word or Jupiter squaring off with Saturn later this year, is fighting. Fighting against distraction. Like I said, with Saturn in the first house, you need to continually focus on what you want to create and be known for. The home that you want to create, the legacy that you want to leave. And even if you're like, Lulu Lunar, I don't know what my legacy is. I don't know what my bigger picture is. With Saturn and Pisces, it's holding that vision of what's important to my soul. And it's focusing upon the self you want to be. The wife that you want to be, the husband that you want to be, the father that you want to be, the mother that you want to be, the employee that you want to be, or the boss that you want to be. It's focusing on the who you want to be, and understanding boundaries are necessary to decide this is not who I want to be. But with your ruler entering Gemini on May 25th, there can be this energy of feeling a little bit more easily distracted, especially when we consider this strain in the fourth house. Perhaps in the opinions from others, from family members, there can be more family drama that you're experiencing from a lot of feedback that they are giving. Maybe with Saturn in first house, especially with the square, you're having to really say no, or put in some strong boundaries around, no, I'm not going to get sucked into your drama, or no, I'm not going to accept your thoughts and your feedback on my life. The tricky part is that as somebody ruled with Jupiter, you are guided by this strong why, by this bigger picture, by this dream of what it is that you want. And with your ruling planet transiting Gemini answering to Mercury, a lot of your energy this year is taking place in a very physical, real domain. A lot of your lessons, particularly the latter half of the year, are going to be about communication. And like I said, this is not a year to lie, to be deceitful. That can come out with your ascendant ruler squaring Saturn, so you're going to want to be very intentional about your words. You're going to want to be intentional about your commitments. With Jupiter and Gemini, be open to feedback. Sometimes feedback can help us show up better as a leader, as a mom, or however. So be open to feedback. But also understand they don't have the dream within them that you have. It's your job to fulfill it, to make it happen, to draw it out, and bring it to life. If you listen to everybody's opinions, you're going to build all of their dreams. So it's honoring the data as it comes in, but also understanding other people's data can only take you so far. You really do have to chisel where you feel guided. A lot of times, I think the future that's there waiting for us, what is it that we are destined to create and be a part of? It is almost sending this invisible magnet our way. It's trying to pull us towards everything that we will create. And it signals that where only we can feel that pull. Other people might not understand. I truly feel with your ascendant ruler transiting Gemini in the 4th, there's going to be a lot of people who have a lot to say, and particularly for a lot of you, it's going to come through family. What do you mean you can't help me with this? You're building your little business and you have to have faith even when other people don't, because you're not building their dreams, you're not building their lives. I do want to say that having your ascendant ruler going through the 4th house, there can be this emphasis on family. There can be this emphasis on home. Some of you might just find you feeling more private. And it's interesting having your ruler go through Gemini, which is very, let's be real, I'm allowed to say this because I'm a Gemini. It's very mid-heaven, very loud, has a lot to say, but it's going through a very private sector. So I just feel that there are some themes coming out this year about understanding and really having to be intentional about your words. Some of you might even be feeling misunderstood because your language is being taken out of context or things of that nature, or people are misconstruing your words or something. There's a lot of life schooling regarding communication, and with Jupiter transiting your ruler, transiting a very sacred portion of the chart, you might be pulling back some of your energy, not necessarily sharing as much because you don't want everybody's data and opinions in on it. A lot of your energy can be consumed with learning this year, really wanting to learn. Some of you might even be moving. Honestly, with Jupiter transiting the sector, moving to somewhere bigger, or there can be some neighbor problems this year. Again, with Saturn 1st house, you might have to put some boundaries, but you really notice that a lot more of your energy, particularly the latter half of the year, is about protecting and nourishing what is sacred to you. I said a lot of your work this year is in the realm of finances and physicality, but the latter half of the year asks you what is supporting all of that visible growth. For example, if we think about a tree, it has branches, it's extending up to the heights. With Saturn transiting the 1st and North Node in 2nd, a lot of you are being focused on ascending to your heights in this physical reality. The latter half of the year with your ruler training in the 4th house, ask, what is my root network? How am I getting the sustenance of my soul in order to support being the leader I want to be, or being the mom I want to be, the employee I want to be, or whatever it is that I want to be within this world? How am I getting my needs met? How am I caring for my soul? Sometimes caring for yourself means having fierce and firm boundaries. It means saying no to things that may feel good in the moment, but you know aren't worth the payoff. When you have Saturn transiting the first house, you're having to learn about cause and effect a lot this year. I cannot spend my nights drinking wine all night because I then get this horrible hangover, and I'm not as present the next day and doing the work that I want to do. You're really having to show yourself self-care. And that's not always in just a bubble bath and chocolate sort of way. Sometimes that's having to say no, having to draw back your energy from family members who are constantly in your ear telling you their opinion. Again, you can hear them out. With Jupiter transiting Gemini, hear them out. Maybe there's data for you, but also understand when it's not aligning with what you are building. So with Jupiter transiting Gemini, it is not the most comfy territory of your ruler, but some of you can be leaning into this time of making your home environment, perhaps somewhere that is more mentally stimulating. Some of you could be dealing with troublesome neighbors, or just living somewhere very noisy because Gemini spreads lots of thoughts, lots of opinions. You could be moving in with family, so there's just a lot more noise and things going on. Maybe that's the energy of your ruler squaring Saturn, where you kind of have to put a stop to that, or have to put certain boundaries, enforce boundaries with roommates, or things of that nature. Some other manifestation is you could be spending a lot more time held up within your home environment, just learning. To me, what's being shown within my mind's eye was the time that I was obsessed with astrology. Of course, let's be real, I still am. But the time that I was in deep learning. It makes me so excited when I see my self-care astrology students in this zone, because I think it's very special to be within the learning zone. What I'm being drawn to in my mind's awareness was this period of my life when I was in deep learning. And I was obsessed with astrology in that I would go to my mentor's house and we would eat dinner and just talk about astrology for hours. Then I would come home and stay up until 3 or 4 reading astrology books, watching astrology on YouTube. I'm not kidding, I was obsessed. I was working my 9 to 5, but all of my time was simply around how can I get the most amount of resources so that I can facilitate my learning. I really was not that social. I was kind of holed up reading and absorbing any bit of information that I could get and give. Some of you might be going through that. Of course, it might be not astrology, but you might be deep in a phase of learning, and with your ascendant ruler going through a very sacred territory of the chart, you might be drawing your energy back a little bit. You know you do not need to be everywhere and anywhere this year. With the energy of Saturn, you just need to show up for the right things that are important to you. So if there is something you want to learn about, I'm definitely seeing there can be something that's urging your soul purpose along, especially when we consider that Jupiter will trine Pluto in June and tail the North Node. I can see that you learning about something is helping you tap into your power. For some of you, it's not necessarily about learning something in a physical, tangible sense, but maybe just learning about your own psyche. I will add that, having your ruler transit the 4th house, you could observe in the latter part of this year that you are feeling more emotional, and honestly, there can be old stuff coming out for some of you. You may be observing the messages that you were told in your childhood and how much those are affecting your psyche. I see some of you are diving deep into learning about that and maybe learning more about attachment styles or learning more about your lineage. There's something where you're being guided to dig in and to learn and perhaps to research. There's something where you're tapping into your power And because of that, you're understanding that your past does not define you, and understanding that how your mind has been shaped to view yourself based on what your family told you is no longer necessary as you step into writing the next chapter of your life. It is about asking what are the narratives beneath the surface around how you frame your emotions. If you're constantly told you're too sensitive, or maybe even if you're told you're no good at this, you're never going to succeed. You are being guided to get to the root of those pieces in order to transform those dialogues and to free yourself. For some of you, this can be a time of getting closer to your family. You could be expanding your family in some sort of way, but for others, I see there may be a setting of boundaries or understanding that the noise within your upbringing and how it affected you, and perhaps freeing yourself from those narratives that are existing within you. It is true you may be more emotional about that and about the messages that are coming up and even the illuminations that you are having of the narrative by which you frame your emotional responses and reactions. You are understanding how you have looked at your own self-care, your own emotions through the lens of what other people told you. And for a lot of you, you're kind of passing out which operating systems you want to continue to run on your computer. If you're just observing that there are certain scripts of narratives that your family members told you, or certain expectations by way of your lineage or your generation, you may find all of those come to the surface for the purpose of freeing you from them. That does bring up a lot of emotions, and this year is asking you for emotional regulation. It is not asking you to allow your emotions to overtake you. It's asking for this measured Saturnian approach. Saturn transiting the first house as the emotions come up, leverage this curious Gemini lens by investigating, by diving deep into where is that coming from, why is this bothering me, what narrative is pinging within the recesses of my soul. I do believe that Jupiter transit in a sector training Pluto, which is most likely in the 12th house, you are diving into some old system of your subconscious processing. You're freeing yourself from old emotional narratives that no longer align with the self that you are and the self you are evolving to become. With your ruler tiling North Node, you can be building your future by the subjects that you are diving into and understanding through the emotional techniques that you are learning about yourself by diving into your value. We will talk about how, by understanding your self-worth and by being able to divorce how you view yourself and how it is your old family told you who you are really up-leveling. Again, that is a deep energy and it can bring a lot to the surface for the purpose of you learning. Before I get into Jupiter squaring Saturn, which is a major theme, I want to skip a little bit ahead to October just because it's in line with this theme, because Chiron in the North Node will align this year in your second house, which is about finances and self-worth. Chiron will also be tiling your ruler, so you are healing this year and you are honoring that what has happened within your past was not your fault. Healing and moving forward is your responsibility, and you're taking responsibility over your life. With Saturn in the first house and with Jupiter tile and Chiron, some of you are reframing your sensitivity. You're seeing it as something powerful. You're learning about techniques to moderate and to protect your energy. You're not feeling defenseless of life any longer. You are learning into opportunities where you are being more intentional about your physical limitations around, I cannot be in that environment. It's draining for me and it takes too long for me to recover. I cannot help you with that because it takes too much out of me, and then I'm not available to show up for my responsibilities. Like I need this amount of time after my consultations, things of that nature to replenish my energy stores. There's this opportunity aspect with your ascendant ruler tiling Chiron around learning strategies, Jupiter and Gemini support your healing and reframe your sensitivity, not as something that is a weakness, but as something that is a strength. Keep in mind, in every strength, there is a certain responsibility to chisel it. And if you have felt like your sensitivity or being empathetic is out of your control this year, is really asking you to learn about strategies to not feel like a victim to your more sensitive disposition. There are ways to regulate it. There are boundaries that you can act within your word in order to protect your inner resources, in order to show up in the way that you want to within this world. I definitely see this year you guys are stepping into this heightened self-worth where you're understanding, no, I'm someone who's worthy of having boundaries. Because of your compassionate sweetheart, there could be this energy that if anybody wants your time and attention, you're more likely to give it to them because they requested it. With North Node and Chiron going into your second house of finances, it can be a big money year, but also self-worth. You're understanding, no, I don't need to be everywhere and anywhere in order to feel worthy. I'm valuable enough to say no and to prioritize being within my own bubble rather than being somewhere that will hurt me. You guys are tapping into that idea of self-worthiness. So I mentioned this transit a couple times. Let's dive into it deeper. It's your ascendant ruler, Jupiter squaring Saturn, August 19th, 2024 and December 24th, 2024. We feel transits as they come and as they go, especially with planets that are slow like Jupiter and Saturn. You could definitely expect a cushion of time around that, around really feeling these concepts of Jupiter, growth, abundance, and luck, feeling stagnated by the energy of Saturn, which is blockages and restrictions and physical limitations or constraints. Having said that, I would be conscious around moving during those times. It could put a lot of pressure on you to move. As I said, some of you are moving, but that might be a time during which, if you force a move, it could be stressful, or it might take longer than you expected. Definitely not my optimal time for traveling. I could say with Saturn squaring Jupiter, definitely a very important time to be intentional about your words. There can be this energy of consequences and starting to feel the physical ramifications of your emotions because there is a connection. Like if you are somebody who identifies as an empath or you do energy work, this year is requiring you to set limits because you're going to start feeling your body begin to, not in a dramatic way, but it will begin to break down. You may be feeling more and more drained, having nothing left to give. I don't want you to get to that space. Some of you have to enact boundaries around how much you have the ability to hold. There might have been other times in life when you were able to just give and give and give. This year is not one of them. I let you know that there can be certain consequences that you feel physically when you have too many clients on your plate. You have all of these headaches, or when you are volunteering to do all your neighbors' pickups, then you start to feel like your tummy knots. This is it. You're going to start to feel the physical effect of those times. Your emotions or your spiritual body is uncomfortable. It is like when your mouth says yes, but your spirit knows it's a no. You really have to honor your no this year, or else you will feel that kind of physical ramifications. Again, nothing too intense, but I do see that as a possibility. I also see, as I highlighted earlier, there can be some battles between the belief systems of your family as well as the belief systems that you are maintaining. There could be political differences, moral differences that are pulling you in different directions. There can be a call in which you are being asked to fundamentally rework your belief systems. With Saturn squaring Jupiter, there's a lot of collective implications, but for you personally, there can be this energy of understanding this is an old belief system that no longer aligns with the person that I want to be and grow into. So I'm going to be open enough to reinvent. It's important to be humble this year. You're in the school of life. Saturn will humble you. You can have amazing results this year. You can make a lot of money with North Node in the second house, but you need to remain humble. You need to remain teachable. You need to aim for this perspective of yourself, which is something I find the energy of Pisces is always navigating because it's two fish. I find the energy of Pisces is always navigating between I'm nothing but a fleck of dust in the wind and I am a god actually. This year is about honoring the even kill and not buying into the hype of your best compliment nor your worst insult. It's important not to build your own emotional foundation on what other people say. That's going to be important with the latter half of the year with Jupiter transiting Gemini because it fundamentally messes with your senses of self. I really think a lot of you are stepping into content creation or being online or something of that nature. I really think a lot of you are learning into that. And the thing is, it's great to feel validated. It's great to receive excellent comments. But if you buy into the excellent comments and believe the hype of the excellent comments, you are equally giving power to the worst comments to destroy you and fundamentally mess with your emotional state. With your ruler in the fourth house, it's honoring the values that you stand for and allowing that to be an unshakable foundation for you because you're setting yourself up for failure when you outsource your own emotional stability to what other people say about you. It's just setting yourself up in a dangerous position that I don't want you to get into. With Jupiter square Saturn, there can be ramifications of words. There can be ramifications around family. There can be living constraints or, like I said, sibling drama or neighbor drama. What can absolutely be highlighted is that arrogance and thinking that you are superior or better than others will have some negative ramifications, especially for those who have Pisces placements between 0 degrees to 21 degrees, as you will experience it, a harsh Jupiter aspect, which can be an energy of superiority, thinking that we are better than other people or above other people, or even having these themes of excess, which in very extreme examples can bring legal issues. That won't be for everyone, so do not panic. But again, it's definitely a time to not think that you're better than anyone else with this Jupiter energy. Sometimes Jupiter energy can make us lazy or extra indulgent, and that is something that is extremely important to be mindful of, especially with it square to Saturn. You are rocking with Saturn, Pisces. Like it or not, you are rocking with Saturn this year. So make sure to leverage Saturn by enacting boundaries and being intentional about your words. Be open enough to learn from others, but also be wise enough to understand that the dreams that you're building are yours alone. Something else to keep within your awareness is that on October 9th, Jupiter will station retrograde in Gemini, where it will stay retrograde until the beginning of 2025. Other than that, your ruling planet is moving direct all year long. And like I said about your forecast, you guys are moving forward. Not all lessons are pleasant in this school of life that you are enrolled in, but you are moving forward. With the energy of Saturn, there might be some awkward conversations, some tough boundaries, a lot of hard work, let's be real. But I want you to believe in the potentiality of change and the potential to be able to take charge of your destiny, not just being a fish in the current, but by swimming intentionally towards what you want. That is important to keep in mind this year. So let's talk about Neptune, because Saturn is not alone going through likely your first house. You also have Neptune in your sign, and you have a Neptune transit if you are a Pisces placement between 25 degrees to 29 degrees. It's interesting to be rocking with both of those planets because Saturn governs reality and Neptune governs illusion. Like I said, you are being equipped with this unique opportunity to take your visions and make them happen within reality. I highlighted that as well as with Neptune tailing Jupiter, but the biggest piece I want to point out, especially if you have Pisces placements between 25 degrees to 29 degrees, and thus having a Neptune transit this year, is that it's not a time in which you are seeing clearly, and it is a time that you do have to set boundaries. With Neptune floating here, there can be an energy around shape-shifting a little bit more, or wanting to see the best in the world. And the sad part about this year is that Pisces are being asked to be very realistic and almost a little bit cynical about life. With Neptune energy, there is this desire to believe the fairy tale, a desire to get lost in a sea of escapism. And it's super important that you stay grounded with reality intentionally as you move through this year, and also stay aware that you will be misunderstood. Neptune governs screen mirrors and cameras. So oftentimes with Neptune trains in the first house, you might be feeling a little disheartened because your actions are misinterpreted, or feeling misunderstood, or feeling people projecting things on you. But with Saturn also in this sector and Jupiter transiting Gemini, there is a reminder flowing through this year as astrology and your understanding, I'm not what other people think. I'm what I show up as within my physical reality. So playing within that, if you're having a strong Neptune aspects, definitely know that you're not seeing your worth clearly at this time, nor seeing yourself clearly at this time. So it might be a wise idea to seek outer counsel. Certainly with your ascendant re-entering Gemini later this year, be open to ask for advice because you're not seeing things clearly. You could be believing the fairy tale. You could be more easily scammed, more easily duped. You can be feeling a strong desire to escape life. Many of you will find that you are very intuitive at this time, but like I said, take those intuitive hints and ground them down into reality, as well as be conscious of making major decisions during the time you have a Neptune transit. Again, it's not that all year you cannot make any decisions, but let's say if you get this opportunity where someone wants you to quit your job and run away with them, and you see that Neptune is chilling next to your Pisces placement, take a second to make sure it's a decision that is grounded within reality, so you don't wake up from this Neptune daydream to realize it was all an illusion. Because a lot of times that's what Neptune energy can be. But with that being said, a lot of you with Neptune transit could be more drawn to photography. You could be more drawn to film. You could be getting into modeling. You could be in the mood to want to be seen. It could be very glamorous to have Neptune transiting the sector that it's transiting for you. So leaning into that, a lot of you could be creating the fantasy within some world. You could be getting more into being a content creator. As I shared earlier, you could be getting into film, creating these dream worlds. But the trick is to understand when it is not real and to stay grounded enough to realize that it is not real, because one of the most heartbreaking things about the Neptune transit is when you get lost in a daydream around something that you believe is going to solve all your problems, and then awaken to the harsh reality that none of it was real. I just don't want you to go down that path. If you're having a Neptune transit, stay anchored within reality. Play with the dream, but ensure that the dream syncs up with your physical reality. I also want to share that your modern ruler Neptune will be retrograde from July 2nd until December 7th. So look out on those dates for opportunities to look inwards, to lift the veil around where you have been deceived or where you have been deceiving yourself, to contemplate your dreams, your visions, your intuition. I also want to share, in line with your modern ruler, the latter portion of the year, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto actually create this lovely flow of energy, as Neptune is styling both Pluto and Uranus, which is really giving us this opportunity to enact very unique dreams and continue to leverage them in order to improve humanity. I really do feel that 2024 is for the dreamers, which is why I think a lot of you are being called upon at this time to lead. Pluto will be entering Aquarius this year for good this time and will stay until 2024, and this is largely about the power shifting to humanity as well as moving towards more fair world. And I think it's going to take novel thinkers with Uranus in the third house, as well as individuals who are able to leverage this imaginative ability that you have been given. With Neptune in the first house, there are a lot of downsides, but there are also lots of gifts. And then you can see a vision for humanity. Some of you may be called to enact that in your own respective industries. You might be saying, Lulu Lunar, I'm meant to change the world. I'm not in politics. But again, it takes individuals who are willing to dream of a more beautiful world and find ways to infuse their work. Saturn in first house is defining your work and showing up for your work in this life, showing up as the leader that you are here to be or the legacy you are meant to have, and finding ways to revolutionize, to continue to move towards the future. So also honor where that is coming into your experience. That will happen in the latter portion of this year. So just observe where that is threatening through your world. Of course, a year is a long time, and there are many transits and ingresses that I did not cover. I wanted to make sure to communicate the most important transits for you to know as you navigate this year. And I will be here to continue to guide you through the year. I do a weekly horoscope series called Magic Monday, which is all about how we can leverage astrology as a tool to co-create magic within our world. So of course, there's more magic ahead, but I want to wrap up by sharing a couple of big picture themes that you can expect within your year ahead. The first is self-sufficiency. We see this with Saturn transiting the first house of self. We also see a preview of this coming up on September 17th with the lunar eclipse in Pisces. So throughout the entirety of this year, North Node will be in Aries, but the North Node does enter Pisces, your sign, making you the main character. That transit happens in 2025. How eclipses work is it's basically new moons or full moons that are located by the nodes, and even though the North Node will still be in Aries, this lunation is close enough to the North Node that they are technically conjunct, thus that eclipse. Full moon eclipse will be a foreshadow, a harbinger around what your work will be during that forthcoming lunar cycle. I say this with love in my heart and not an ounce of fear-mongering in my intention, but I want you to know that if you learn the truth about certain people within your orbit during that eclipse or overall throughout this year, I want you to know that this information was given to you from your spiritual support team. You are stepping into a cycle where you're becoming more independent. Now, I'm not here saying that you have to trust no one, that no Pisces is going to find love. No, not at all. But what I'm saying is that the cycle that you are moving into, it can be a time when you're having to be more radically responsible of your world. And to understand that you are going to give yourself what you want. You are going to make your dreams come true. It's less so about waiting on other people to do things for you and more so taking charge around, if I want this legacy, I need to show up for it. I need to be the leader that I want to be within my mind. It's about taking responsibility over your life, and when it comes to having that preview, lunar eclipse in September 2024, in the first house, there can be certain nudges revealed around certain people who have outlived their purpose within your universe. Sometimes when it comes to information revealed, it can be a little bit heartbreaking when you realize people are not who you thought they were. Again, this lunation is gathered with Neptune, which, like I said, you have to be so mindful around your own delusions or who it is that you are imagining people and situations to be. We love the romantic nature that you have over life, but I'm just letting you know that with this lunar eclipse, there can be certain information that is revealed about connections being not what you thought they were. And you are being asked to understand you have got you, and the spirits have got you, so please do not fear. If there are certain connections where you thought this was going to be forever, but the truth is saying otherwise, you really need to go based on what is showing up within your physical reality this year. I know that's not territory that your soul likes to swim in typically, but listen, I'm there with you. We like to swim in the territory of fantasy and dreams world, but again, you can see into someone's soul, and it makes it so much easier to have empathy for the way that they treat you and for the lack of effort and what have you, because you are so empathetic and compassionate. But just because you understand why they treat you the way they do, that does not excuse the fact that they do treat you the way they do. A lot of times Pisces can see into someone's soul and be that shoulder to cry on and be someone who genuinely takes the time to understand what this person is moving through. But this year, save yourself the extra labor of needing to dissect this person's behavior and problems in childhood. Just really strive to stay present within how are they showing up within my physical reality. Just because I can understand what may lead someone to behave in the ways that they are behaving at this moment, it doesn't mean that I have to allow that behavior within my universe. Your compassion must have limits this year. With Saturn transiting your sign, if you have been giving people too many benefits of the doubts, if you've been projecting your fantasies onto somebody while the physical actions within the world aren't aligning to those fantasies, I want to let you know that eclipse could be signaling some work. Another transit that is aligned with this theme is North Node being in Aries in the second house, which is about taking charge of your finances. It's about taking action towards your finances, being open to initiate circumstances in order to put yourself in a better financial position. Some of you could be not wanting to receive support from other people. You could be, going through, again, not everybody, but you could be going through a divorce where that support is no longer available for you. You could be cutting off from your parents. There can be this nudge where you want to own your own life and be accountable of your life. Because when you are making your own money, truly no one can tell you what to do with it. It's yours, right? So there is this freedom in that. It does take hard work, which again, that's a lot of where your life school is this year. Hard work and all of that which aren't necessarily fun, but there is freedom in that. Freedom of being able to spend your money on what you truly value and being able to take charge of your financial circumstances. I see that there's a nudge there for you. So those themes of self-sufficiency and releasing support from others, diving into your very whole experience of life, diving into what you value, defining what you value, that will be kicked up around the eclipses. And those eclipses are as follows. We have a lunar eclipse in Libra on March 25th. We have a solar eclipse in Aries on April 8th. We have a lunar eclipse in Pisces again, which will be an important one, especially if you have Pisces placements at 25 degrees. That's one's going to be personal for you. And the solar eclipse on October 2nd, that's when those themes that I was highlighting, especially the ones that are in Aries and in Libra, will be bringing forth those themes around values, around owning possessions, and things of that nature. Then the outlier, the September 17th, that's the more of a habit of what you'll be working on a lot moving into 2025, 2026. So yes, you can really take charge of your money, understand where it's going. Definitely be mindful of being too impulsive with it. Invest in yourself, invest in the person you want to be, but Aries can be a little bit impulsive. What I also want to share with you is that this year Mercury will be retrograding the fire signs, which will be your money and career houses, 2nd, 6th, and 10th respectively. And so there can be inconveniences, snaffus, or even a shift of direction around what you want from work. Your creative vision in regards to work, so definitely observe how that is flowing into your experience. In line with that, North Node transiting the 2nd house, I also want to bring to the surface there is this big picture theme this year around earned confidence. Again, if you go into this year feeling like you are you and nothing can hurt you, Saturn will humble you so quick. It's not about acting like you're the best without having the results to back it up. It is about building and earning confidence and allowing your results and your habits and your efforts to back up the visions you have within your mind of, yeah, I'm going to do this because my habits support it and my work ethic supports it. I know the vision I was picked for, the vision I'm going to make happen. It is showing up with that confidence, not with arrogance. Showing up with this energy of, I know my worth. That is something that is echoed within your astrology. We see that with North Node going to the 2nd house, you are diving into your worth, you are healing your worth, as North Node does conjoin Chiron this year. This actually happens during your season, March 5th, 2024, but that's not like a majorly personal trans for you. I think it just echoes this overall theme around really healing what made you feel like you were not worthy, and realizing that you are the creator of your life and you get to decide your worth if you have been undervaluing yourself. This is about getting to the root of where those stories, those narratives came from, and how you can flip the script, how you can start showing up accordingly. That is what you're being guided to do this year. It's about, I know my worth because I know all the hard work that I have invested in myself. I know my worth because my actions back up my worth every single day. So it is all about getting to the root of those old stories, which, to be totally honest with you, can sometimes be painful. Sometimes Chiron energy can stir up certain energies within us that make us feel we were not worthy. But again, with North Node, there's a lot of gain. Celebrate those opportunities to get to the core of where those stories come from and to be able to grow beyond them. I want to let you know this can echo into our finances. 2nd house is how we value ourselves, and how we value ourselves can easily leak into how we make and spend our money. If you are somebody who has undervalued yourself as a soul, when you start a business, you are equally going to probably undervalue your offerings. No more. Not this year anyway. You are getting to the root of what the script is that's operating within you that makes you feel like you need to settle for less, and how you can fundamentally do the work here, backed up by your own work within the physical reality, in order to flip the script around how you deal with your own values, as well as your own finances. That is something that is transpiring. The last theme is somewhat related, but I just want to share there is this theme around really getting to the root of emotional stories that have existed within you. We have your ruler Jupiter transiting this very sacred portion of the chart. So there can be an emphasis around your emotions, around your past, around your roots, around where you come from. And it's not about reactivating those wounds and staying within that wounded place. But with this here in Saturn in the 1st house, you're taking responsibility over your life. You're not wanting to be snared by old narratives, by old patterns. You're wanting to move into the leader that you want to be. Because with every new level of ascension, every new level of success, it amplifies that stuff. We hear this from famous people all the time. They're like, fame only makes it worse. You can't out-succeed your healing. And so while I do see success ahead within your forecast, Pisces, there's also this nudge about understanding what you think is going to solve it. About these accolades, this success, this abundance, what you think is going to solve it isn't going to solve it. And you taking charge of getting to the roots in order to really understand the narratives that are existing within you and whether or not you want to take them with you. You are starting this new cycle. We see this with Saturn in the first, and we see this with Jupiter at the foundation of the chart. Now, Jupiter starts growing up to the top, though some of you might even have some sort of job change, maybe scaling back your efforts or starting to work from home, more because a new cycle began. This is punctuated when Jupiter reaches the top of the chart in about 6 years. So also just observe what new cycles are starting out. But you're really coming inwards. You're contemplating what it is that you want, what's going to lead to true happiness and true fulfillment, understanding that the success is nice, the accolades are nice, but you do not want to climb to the top of the ladder to realize it's placed on the wrong goal. That's why a lot is weighing heavily on your soul this year about what is my legacy? What do I want my legacy to be? Where is my integrity? So in conclusion, I want to just go through a rapid fire where every planet is transiting and the unique opportunities that they are giving. First was Jupiter transiting the 3rd and 4th house, where it is that you are growing this year is around communication, around understanding, that you generally have something to say and to get more comfortable saying it and sharing it equally. With Jupiter transiting the 4th house, you are growing in regards to understanding what is really going to make you happy, as well as really wanting to understand your emotions, as well as learning tools and even information that can help you regulate your emotions where you're being challenged this year, Pisces. With Saturn in first, you're being challenged to see the vision and hold the vision of the person that you want to be, the legacy that you want to lead, the habits and discipline that you want to chisel. That is where you are being challenged this year, as well as your physical health, your vessel, your statics, so on and so forth, where you're experiencing some shakeups this year. With North Node and South Node transiting Aries and Libra, thus your 2nd house and 8th house, you're experiencing shakeups in regards to money, support. Again, embrace the flow. Take charge of your destiny. Take charge of your value system. Take charge of your independence this year, Pisces. Where you are radicalizing with Uranus in the 3rd house, you are finding novel subjects to study, as well as new ways that you are wanting to communicate. Maybe setting boundaries is a foreign concept for you, but maybe that's new, that's revolutionizing of itself for you to be able to speak your truth. In that way, lean into novel ideas that do come through you, Pisces. With Neptune transiting the 1st house, understand that you are not responsible for ensuring that everybody sees you accurately. All you can do is show up with integrity and understand that people will form their own opinions. Do not take it personally. If people do not like you or if people misunderstand you, equally do not yourself up for disappointment by fantasizing things to be what they are not. You are playing within the realm of reality this year, and that's super important. With Pluto largely transiting the 12th house, it does dip back into Capricorn, so it will transit your 11th house. So again, embrace people showing you who they are. We saw that with the lunar eclipse in the 1st house, Harbinger, as well as Pluto finishing off its transit in the 11th house. Allow your friendships and the people within your life to show their true color. Know that as you transform, the people around you are transforming and your world is transforming. And the best thing that you can do is ease into the flow of transformation. With Pluto entering the 12th house, again, what's been in the shadows of your mind, of your awareness, is coming to light. Embrace that work. Just because those operating systems and those narratives and those old stories are existent within you, that doesn't mean you need to take them with you into a future. Those stories and those wounds may have gotten you here, but they won't be what takes you there. You're being asked to take the skeletons out of the closet, understand how you talk to yourself, face the secrets that you've been running from, the inner crevices of your mind that you've been running from, and really be willing to do the work physically. With Saturn in the first house and Pluto there for a long time, you might only get some hints and previews of some of the themes, but definitely pay attention to when Pluto trines your ruler in June, as it might signal a lot of themes about the old scripts, the old ways of processing that are no longer conducive for your growth. There's an opportunity to transform and to evolve there. I want to leave you with some soul-centered celestial affirmations that are designed for you to continue to affirm and hold all these transits within your mind's eye, just manifesting in the most aligned way for your soul as well as for all souls involved. As I highlighted, some of these lessons in the school of life are more pleasant and enjoyable than others, but nevertheless you are learning quite a bit this year, Pisces. I want you to lean into those affirmations. If they do align for you, remind yourself of this. And those soul-centered celestial affirmations are as follows. I'm intentional about the building of my legacy. My efforts mirror what is important to my soul. I'm intentional about my words. I'm open to opportunities to learn. I continually see my own value. I get to the root of where old stories of inadequacies have been holding me back, and I free myself from them. I'm the leader and the creator of my life. I lead with ethics and integrity. Other people's perspectives of me is not my responsibility. I'm diligent about my boundaries. I honor my physical vessel with nutrition, with regular movement, with clothes, makeup, hair that really honor the person that I am and the person I'm evolving to be. I allow myself to explore the inner recesses of my mind, heart, and spirit. It is my responsibility to bring my dreams into life. I'm disciplined about manifesting my dreams into reality. I am worthy of these ideas flowing through me and manifested within my reality. So, my loves, those are some affirmations that you're welcome to utilize as you navigate the year. I feel so honored that I got to share some of the major transits that are aligning for you. Again, you'll also want to listen to your other signs. Definitely listen to your sun rising, and you're welcome to listen to your other placements as well. And just notice what resonates. And again, we're going backwards, so starting with Pisces. Until we meet again, drink lots of water and stay cosmic.